Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Where on earth is that echo? 1 second. Right there. Nope. Nope. Excuse me? Huh? Wow. Thank you, Ro, for that. Where is this delay coming from? Can you guys hear that delay? The sister of Sergey Volin spoke. Yes. Good evening. I fell off the wagon, but I'm back tonight. Awesome. Check 1, 2. I think we're solved. Good. You don't hear it. Great. Thank you. I had a little goofy setup here going on, but we're good to go now. Thank you for that. All right, everybody. Full night tonight. Let me catch up first of all here with the comments, and then we're going to get over to it's crazy how much stuff has happened today. JDO, welcome to you. And Greg, were you able to scrub out the special guests from last night? Yes, they've been scrubbed. Now, we'll see what happens. Don Gentilini, welcome to you as always. Yet we're going to talk about the 2/3 Russian oil ban. Ricochet, welcome to you. Ted Link, welcome to you. CZ, last night I mentioned, let's see here. Last night I mentioned there was a meeting at 1:30 p.m. today in Kyiv to provide information to the spouse families of the Azovstal defenders. I saw it in Twitter yesterday. Continued. We'll catch that in a second. Barbara Rolfe, Jeff Burnett, CZ. The meeting today was the spouses and families for information and for their 2 phone calls they should get as part of the Geneva Convention. Yes. Ro, Greg, you're such a blessing to so many people. You're welcome. CZ, the sister of Sergey Volin, spoke. She spoke extremely high of her brother. Yes, I've spoken throughout the war to Sergey Volin before he was taken. And actually, CZ, you're going to like this. I've got video tonight of Sergey Volin. Gani King, welcome to you, my friend. Checking from Idaho today, Rainwater Games. What's up? Please define a long-range rocket. POTUS is confused, Ricochet. Well, you know, if you are on the border, like 10 meters across the border, you know, that becomes a long-range rocket if you fire at 2 meters, because then you've hit the other soil. Anyway, we'll get to that in a moment. Yeah. We're going to start, though, tonight. Frozen screen, I think, check your refresh on you. We're good. Where everything here is running normal now. The reason little goofy going is because I just got off the phone with the computer talking to Zhenya. So he's probably watching tonight. Instead of copying live, he'll be in here tomorrow. Full day today. We're going to start here. We're going to start right here tonight. President Zelensky came out today. We showed you this last night or the night before where he would be speaking to the European Council today. And he did an amazing speech. If you saw the title of the program tonight, the title of the program is The United States and the EU Have Made Terrible Mistakes Today. Today was Mistake Day. President Biden, Washington, D.C., Pentagon, whoever makes decisions, you made a fatal, and I mean fatal, because people are going to die because of the decision that you made. So that's there. Secondly, today was Memorial Day, and is Memorial Day, and I'm wearing my U.S. flag here, land of the free, home of the brave, because of those guys that gave their lives, our fallen heroes here in the United States. And I want to start with this, actually. Do not forget, to the American people on Memorial Day 2022, this was a message sent from the Commander-in-Chief of the Ukrainian military forces, Commander-in-Chief of the Ukraine Armed Forces, Valery Zaluzhny, on Memorial Day. I want to express my gratitude and condolences for your dead. We here in Ukraine are grateful to your military for their help in the fight for freedom. Today, we are fighting for survival, just like your soldiers were in June 1775 when your army was founded. Thank you for your constant leadership in the fight for freedom, Zaluzhny said. And here's what's interesting about that I think is just absolutely crazy. The Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces of Ukraine knows about our even Revolutionary War date, 1775, for our freedom. Pretty interesting, because I imagine most students, we don't talk about America in here, but most walking around probably do not even know about the Revolutionary War, unfortunately. But we have good teachers out there that are trying to teach them, so keep teaching. But I think it's pretty cool that even the Ukrainian commander knows about our Revolutionary War. So with that, this is where we need to start tonight. We need to start with the statements that President Zelensky made. Today was another one of those Winston Churchill moments. He absolutely blisters the European Union. If I need to play this twice or read it to you, I will. In fact, I'm going to do this because I do not want you to lose the effect of it. Let me do this first. I'm going to read this to you, and then I'm going to play it. The clip that I've translated for you. Good evening, Knoxville, Tennessee. I think it's important that you really understand this. So let's go here first. This is what you're getting ready to watch President Zelensky say. The subtitles are at the bottom, but let me tell you in English, you're hearing with your ears, and then we'll watch it. He said, speaking to the European Union leaders, I want you to understand me. I do not blame any of you. I'm now speaking as Zelensky, and all of this is the fault of only Russia. But I am sure that each of you understands that there should be progress in sanctions for this aggression. And for us, it is very necessary, and it will help us a lot. Such progress that Russia began to seek peace. And only this can be our common demand for peace. There can be no other compromises at the expense of our territorial integrity, our sovereignty, meaning we're not giving up any land. I'm grateful to everyone who is promoting the sixth sanctions package, who is trying to make it effective. However, so far, it unfortunately for some reason isn't present. And why? Now he's going to crank the oven up. Why do you depend on Russia? Zelensky speaks to the EU leaders. From their pressure. And not the other way around. Russia must depend on you. Why can Russia still earn almost 1 billion euros a day by selling energy? Why are the banks of the terrorist state still working with Europe and the world financial systems? These are serious questions. Why are Russian propagandists still active in the European Union? This is the information weapon of the Russian Federation. Why are Russian civil servants who support the war in courts, who openly help repression, still not sanctioned? Each of these important issues is not just action packages or the war in Ukraine. It's all about us and you. It's all about Europe itself. Dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, not only thanks to greater unity can we find effective answers to everything that Russia is doing against us and doing against you. He put the hammer down, and here it is.
Хочу, щоб ви мене зрозуміли. Я не звинувачую нікого із вас. Провина за все, що відбувається тільки на російській державі. Але я впевнений, що кожній з вас очевидно, що мав би бути прогрес і в санкціях за цю агресію. І для нас це дуже потрібно. І нам це дуже допоможе. Такий прогрес, щоб Росія почала шукати мир. І тільки це може бути нашою спільною вимогою. Мир. Жодних компромісів за рахунок нашої територіальної цілісності, нашого суверенітету не може бути. Я вдячний усім, хто просуває шостий санкційний пакет, намагається зробити його ефективним. Однак його поки що, на жаль, чомусь немає. І чому ви залежите від Росії, від їх тиску, а не навпаки. Росія повинна залежати від вас. Чому Росія все ще може заробляти майже мільярд євро на день, продаючи енергоресурси? Чому банки, держави-терористи все ще працюють з Європою та світовою фінансовою системою? Серйозні запитання. І чому на території Євросоюзу все ще активні російські пропагандистські канали? Це інформаційна зброя Російської Федерації. Чому російські державні службовці, які підтримують війну, і судді, які відкрито допомагають репресіям, досі не під санкціями? Кожне з цих важливих питань не просто про санкційні пакети чи війну в Україні. Все це про нас з вами. Все це про саму Європу. Шановні друзі, пані та панове, тільки завдяки більшій єдності можна знайти ефективні відповіді на все, що робить Росія проти нас і робить проти вас.
There you have it. That is President Zelensky speaking today, and he nailed it. So I think it was important that I read it for you, where you could actually maybe get some concept, because sometimes I know it's a challenge to try to try to hear the foreign language and read the translations at the bottom. But very, very important what he said today, and it actually moved the needle on some things. But this day unfolded in a very unique pattern, and we're going to talk about that. So here it is, 9:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:16 in California, 4:16 a.m. in Ukraine, and this day number 96, has unfolded in a very, very unique way for Ukraine, for Europe, for the United States, and for the rest of the world. There was actually some interesting things that unfolded in China today, and if we do not think that all of these things are connected, then we probably need to have our head examined again. So let's go here. Now, today, Russia moved in an enormous amount of troops, artillery, equipment, Iskanders. Where did they move them to? They moved them in behind Sumy. Now, I'm going to take you over to the map now, and I'll show you this. And let's, of course, Kharkiv is here, and the main city we're talking about in a little while is Severodonetsk. I actually have a translated interview with the governor of the region talking about the update. But let me just draw it here for you. That's basically the occupied area. But Sumy, and I'll change the colors, is right here. And today, a massive amount of equipment and soldiers were moved into the border on Sumy. We, of course, know that Belarus has already loaded and locked this location down north of Kyiv and also north of Chernihiv. So once again, either we've got some sleight of hand activity going on, or Russia is preparing for something on a different level. These are the same things that have been happening for 96 days, and even prior to this, when all of the troops were amassing on the border last winter, moving into February of this year. So this was a big deal. Now, also today, there was a huge push. I'll go back to the map and I'll show you this one right here. So Zaporozhye, very important city. Huge city. Let me erase that out, and let's go back here. Zaporozhye, right here, around this river. Russia pushed in very hard. And if you look over to the left where the black arrow is, I'll put it back here for you so that you can see, that is Energodar. And of course, that is where the nuclear power plant is, the largest one in Europe. So now Russia is pushing right around the river, which actually looks like a lake there, but it's the river, pushing right up into Zaporozhye, intense shelling, and they really want to get a foothold into Zaporozhye and Kryvyi Rog. Now, what this is telling us is they're not stopping with Donbass. They're going to continue going. They want Odessa. They want all of this. In fact, I've come to a conclusion, and I'm going to go back here and show you something. I've come to a conclusion on something right here. I'm going to erase all of this, give you a little bit of tactic tonight. I'm going to clear this. So we know we've got Mariupol. Let me go red. We've got Mariupol. We've got Crimea. We've got Kherson. We have Lugansk. We have Donetsk. We have really this whole line straight down like that. Now, pushing into Sumy today, I've come to a conclusion looking at this, talking with Zhenya. Of course, Kharkiv under intense shelling, missile strikes. The day after Kharkiv attempted to restore their subway system, Russia increased the shelling, so now the subway system's closed. People are back living under the bunkers there in the subway system. Then you have Zaporozhye here. You've got that Kramatorsk region we're talking about. You've got Dnipro. You've got Kryvyi Rog. You've got Odessa. And you have Transnistria. Okay. Let me go just this color. Here's Sumy. And here's the tip of Transnistria. I mean, is it just me or am I the only one that sees this? So I'll put a black line down. It seems to me that's the plan. That's the plan. And I think if this could happen for Russia, then either from that they would push Kyiv or they'd let this stand as Ukraine and be demilitarized. But I see really this straight line here because once you get below Zaporozhye here, you have full port access as well. And I just see the straight line from Sumy all the way over to Moldova. And that's just what I've been looking at for a couple of days. And I think that is probably fairly accurate as to what they are eventually wanting to do. Here, Liman has become a major push. We talked about this with Zhenya. Today, in Liman, which is above Slavyansk and Kramatorsk, Russia was able to successfully cross the river. There's a huge river that runs there right outside of Liman, and actually on that picture, especially if I make it a little bigger for you, you can see where there's like a water piece right to the left of the red circle. That's actually a river that runs down, and that's been holding back Russia from making a push down north, from the north towards Slavyansk. And today they were successful in crossing that river and establishing that territory. So today, military-wise, was not the best of days for Ukraine. We actually lost quite a bit of territory today internally in Severodonetsk, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment. And you will actually hear from the governor of that region. Gennady Korban. This is a guy that I have not shared any stuff with you guys about, but he is another guy that works in the Kyiv defense offices. He is there on the governmental side. He's there with strategy. And I know you can't read that, but I can. And he is warning that the cities of Kyiv. So first word there, Kyiv. Second word, Sumy. Third word, Chernigiv. Fourth word, Kharkiv. Kyiv, Sumy, Chernigiv, Kharkiv. Go back to the map and I'll show you. But by now you all know this, or if you're here new, you're going to learn. Kyiv here, Chernigiv here, Sumy here, Kharkiv. He is putting an immense warning out that there is coming an attack from the north, and he was actually pushing for Ukraine, not only with soldiers, but he actually is pushing for Ukraine to try to mine their own border on this north central region here. So there is stuff shaking out. This is a new player. This is a new guy on the table that I'm sharing with you guys, but this was his alert today. You know, it's interesting. I've been working in Ukraine for 25 years, and in all of those years working there, and if you add up my passport time, I'm over 2 years of my life inside Ukraine. That has nothing to do with Russia, Europe. That's just Ukraine. And I've spent probably totaled up a few months inside Moldova. I have never, in all my years, heard of ammonia plants having leaks. And now, since this war has started, there are ammonia leaks everywhere. So what does that tell me? There aren't any leaks. Russia is using it as a strategy. They're destroying and hitting these targets. But today, once again, another ammonia plant, and it's in Bakhmut, which is a major target right there. And you see the black arrow going in. You see NH3. Of course, that's ammonia. Huge ammonia plant smacked today. People once again secured. Had to put all, what did they do? They wet down their windows. They put the plastic up. They can't go outside. It locks them down. And not only that, all evacuations that were trying to come out of Bakhmut were canceled today due to the strike on the ammonia plant. So it's all strategy. And here you can once again see the push down from towards Slavyansk, the push in towards Liman, and the major push into Severodonetsk. And I can tell you for a fact, you're going to hear it from the governor himself in just a moment, that there are no evacuations coming out of Severodonetsk right now. In fact, why don't we do that right now? I'm going to play for you. The governor of the region was interviewed today on Ukrainian news, and I'll play you a couple of minutes of that. This will give you the most recent update and insight into the Severodonetsk area.
Ситуация действительно в Северодонецке максимально сложная, хотя вся Луганская область на сегодняшний день это сплошная территория, которая обстреливается со всех видов вооружений, которая есть там в российской армии. И это и авиабомбы, и всякие артиллерия, и танки. Ну, в общем, со всего, что есть. Северодонецк они уничтожали очень долго. Удалось им все-таки продавить территорию вот с окраины, там, где гостиница «Мир», и чуть-чуть продвинуться вглубь города. В городе будут, ну и сейчас идут, и будут еще идти уличные бои. Я не военный, но посмотрим, что будет дальше, какое будет дальше развитие. К сожалению, действительно, у нас 3 врачей пропало, и мы видели фотографии разбитой полностью, взорванной машины санитарной. Но есть все-таки какие-то шансы на то, что их не было в машине, потому что там тел не было. Волонтеры, которые попали под обстрел, расстреляли машину, они живы, мы их тоже вывезли. И сегодня, к сожалению, во время проведения эвакуации из Лисичанска автомобиль, в котором, бронированный автомобиль, в котором ехали наши патрульные полицейские забирать людей, и журналисты французского издания, рядом прилетело, пока не знаем точно, что это, или авиабомба, или снаряд очень крупный, там 52-й калибр, и пробило бронированное стекло осколком, и погиб у нас журналист французского издания. И в броневике сидели, и в шлеме был, и в бронежилете, но осколок попал ему в шею.
Ох. Сергей, после этого, я так понимаю, эвакуация остановлена, да, и вот для нашего понимания эвакуация остановлена в принципе?
Пока временно мы останавливаем эвакуацию, потому что, ну, во-первых, это уже небезопасно даже для людей, которых мы вывозим в эвакуацию. Вот этот автомобиль вывозил более 30 человек. Ну, были такие моменты. Поэтому даже не хочу себе представить, если 5 патрульных полицейских, 30 жителей мирных просто попадут вот так еще раз, не дай Боже, и это будет огромное количество погибших. Поэтому пока приостанавливаем, дальше будем следить за ситуацией. И, ну, если будет возможность, то, конечно, мы продолжим.
Относительно ситуации непосредственно на улицах, есть ли сейчас возможность перемещения хотя бы минимального гражданских людей, или лучше этого в принципе не делать, потому что то, с чего мы начинали, да, это фактически уличные бои, которые на территории области идут?
Если говорить о Северодонецке, то, конечно, в Северодонецке лучше не перемещаться по улицам. Я уже призывал жителей оставаться в укрытиях, потому что, ну, все-таки уличные бои, это, кроме того, что прилетают какие-то снаряды, там, ракеты, то еще и вот автоматные очереди, пулеметные, гранатометные, ну, все что угодно может быть. Что касается других населенных пунктов, это и Лисичанской, и Горской громады, ну, там больше опасность именно от обстрелов. И причем, ну, когда прилетает целая кассета градов или смерчей, ну, шансов выжить очень мало, потому что осколки разлетаются на огромное просто расстояние, и там такие осколки, которые могут и бронежилет перерезать пополам.
So there you have it. That is straight from the governor of that region, Lugansk, from the Lugansk region, talking specifically about Severodonetsk. Now, I also have earlier today, this is not horrible, but I just want you to see this. This interview that was happening is very interesting because the journalist was there early this morning interviewing this lady who was still there in Severodonetsk, not needing to evacuate, she thought. In fact, she was talking to the journalist about how that she was very fortunate and blessed that nothing had dropped near her. It was just a very weird turn of events. I can tell you, nobody's damaged, nobody's hurt. This family is safe. The journalists are safe, but she changed her opinion right quick. And unfortunately now, the journalist is trapped. This family is trapped. They can't get out. But this one, very interesting. Severodonetsk.
Сынуля, мы здоровы, все хорошо. Мама Лена нам тоже. Мам, привет. Мы не знаем, кто тут были. Мы в основном тут. Кто, шо. В нашем доме не было никого. Мы мирные жители.
The exact quote that she made was, "We haven't even been closely struck yet." And then you see that happen. So that was just a shockwave. That family is fine living, but it just shows these guys are targeting anything that moves. And when you see that happening, you're well aware that they are actually in control. They're not just at that hotel anymore, but they have moved in. They are controlling the street battles. And I told you guys last night, and nobody, Ukraine came out and said, no, we're pushing back. But the reality is Severodonetsk is falling and there's no way to stop it. There's no way, because if Ukraine was to push in there to try to really stop it, really reinforce, you would have that pinch and that encirclement. This is another big reason why, and we'll talk about this right now, actually. Today, President Biden, Washington, D.C., and the European Union made huge mistakes. And basically, you're playing poker with Vladimir Putin, and today you showed him all of your cards. Today, my friends, Vladimir Putin laid his head down tonight when he went to sleep, smiling, because he won this round of the poker game. There's no question Ukraine is boiling right now. Why are they boiling? Because for example, that town there in Severodonetsk, Ukraine needs the extended range of some of these systems to be able to strike from safe positions. And they're not getting them. In fact, we'll start here. So early this morning, this is the story that started. Ukraine was gung-ho, because this morning the news was the U.S. is still sending these M31 GMLRS and MLRS systems to Ukraine. Satellite-guided precision weapons, 40-mile ranges, and delivery of these weapons would change the game. It would make it more fair. Ukraine would be able to strike, for example, into Severodonetsk from safe positions. And it said at the bottom, the opportunities that our army will have after the arrival of these MLRS are shown here. And then it goes through a chart. And what was the chart? I'm going to show you right here. This was their circle of range where they would be able to safely be like behind the lines of Kramatorsk there and then strike up into Severodonetsk. They would be able to strike back into territories that are supplying weapons that are destroying men, women, boys, and girls every day with the extended range. They put out these charts in these circle of ranges. There's Kharkiv. They could be behind Kharkiv and strike into the enemy positions. But what happened today? Something happened because Reuters reported, and then it went bonkers. that U.S. will not send Ukraine rocket systems that can reach Russia, says Joe Biden. Okay. Let me show you this. As soon as that statement came out, as soon as the policy changed and it was decided that United States would not send these extended range systems that honestly will give Ukraine a fighting chance, you just put a noose around their neck today. And I'm telling you, on the inside, I talked today with Ukraine many times. And on the outside, they smile, they say thank you. But on the inside, they are boiling because these were promised and these are necessary to liberate some of these areas. And they're not coming. They'll come to NATO, but they're not coming to Ukraine. Today, President Biden took his hand of cards, flipped them around and said, Putin, here's what I have. And he doesn't have very much. Very sad what happened today. Now, instantly, guess who comes out and speaks? Medvedev. I'm going to tell you what Medvedev said. He said, it is very wise and reasonable. Medvedev spoke about the U.S. refusal to supply weapons capable of striking Russia. Today, Reuters published information citing Biden's words that the United States will not send missile systems to Ukraine that can shell Russian territory. When attacking our cities, the Russian armed forces would fulfill their threat and strike at the center of these criminal decisions. Now, folks, this is where Ukraine took it today. You have to understand this statement was made in the Russian language. Now it's translated, and remember, I've taught you guys about the Russian language. There's a word called smysly, and it's like the meaning of behind the words. I could convert right now and speak in pure slang. And for those of you that are watching from other countries, or tomorrow you're watching from Ukraine, you really would not understand the context of what I'm talking about if I was to just flip the button to pure slang. And I will not do that. But when you are translating a language, when you are translating other words, you have to understand the meaning behind them. And today, Medvedev said this. Look at that bottom paragraph again. When attacking our cities, the Russian armed forces would fulfill their threat and strike at the center of these criminal decisions. He's referring to the criminal decision if Biden had said send the longer range weapon systems. He then said some of them are not located in Kyiv at all. Washington? What's next? No need to explain. Folks, this is not Solovyov. This is not some propagandist who has immense power. This is not the patriarch of the Russian Orthodox Church. This is the former president and the seating secretary of the defenses, Medvedev. Point blank said, when attacking our cities, the Russian armed forces would fulfill their threat and strike at the center of these criminal decisions. Now, here's where this is bonkers. The reason given was so that Ukraine would not be able to strike back in Russian territory. Yeah, all of your guys' comments are right. We pray for it, Diana. It's you can't trust anybody. We understand it. There's bigger things happening here, folks. But okay, I need somebody that has. I know in here we have veterans, so I'm going to move on to something, and then I'm going to come back to this. So, would somebody please tell me what the range is of the M777 that we have sent and are 100% on the battle lines there? I've shown you video. Can somebody please just type in the chat the range? That's all I want to know. And then I'm going to come back to this. I want to go to this one first. Interesting, and I do connect these things. I may be wrong, but I do connect them. China today flew over 30 airplanes, all not just fighters, but their entire, like, however you call it in the Air Force, the squadron or the group. They had the radar planes, they had the fighters, they had the bombers. They flew them over Taiwanese airspace. Taiwan responded by scrambling jets. Very interesting. That happens on the same day that Biden and the EU shows their mistakes. And I'm going to show you the EU mistake in a mile. Okay, so max range 25 miles, 20 plus depending on munitions. Okay, that's cool. Let's go with that. Now, so I connect China and their madness today with these decisions from Washington and out of the EU. Now, I want to go back to the map. And maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not. Not on this one. So let's see here. Ukraine. I'm going to go in blue. Here's where the Russian border comes down. Right here. It's the Russian border. I'm going to drop it all the way back in Sumy around to Kharkiv, and then that's it. Okay, because the rest of that, this is all Russian forces. But this area right here. Now, I mean, maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. Maybe. But let's see. Ukraine can 100% take their rocket launchers, their 777s, and take them. Now, it would be dangerous. They could be shelled, but they control this territory. They could take them and put them right on the border. I mean, you know, if you come to the border right here, I could take a hand grenade and throw it across the border. So literally, Belgorod is easy to be targeted. It's less than 20 miles from the border into Belgorod. Major city and supply line. So what on earth are you talking about being able to strike into Russia? If Ukraine wanted to strike into Russia, and they already have, they've struck Belgorod. That's a fact. Russia struck it as well. But if they wanted to strike into Russia, they can do it anyway. I remind you that Ukraine is defending their territory from invaders who are destroying everything. And you're going to make some weak decision that we are not going to supply them with anything that can strike on Russian territory. Sir, I can throw a grenade across the border. This is the most ridiculous. And this is what Ukraine was saying all day on the inside. They're not going to say it on the outside. Of course not. They're thankful for the billions of dollars and what we've sent and whatever has been sent from other nations. They're thankful. They're appreciative. But they're boiling on the inside because basically we're letting Russia continue. And folks, make no mistake about it. Do not believe the reports you see that there are deserters and that there are people turning coats. That happens in every war. There's traitors. There's those that do not want to go fight. There are those that shoot themselves in the leg so they can be taken back home. It happens in every war. Make no mistake about it. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of Russian soldiers that only want to destroy and are completely loyal to the Kremlin. And they're not going to run out of weapons. So this today was a horrible day for Ukraine, and this was a major mistake on American policy towards this war made by President Joe Biden. The European mistake, let me give you this. Macron came out again today and says, you know what? We're going to be the ones that negotiate the peace between Russia and Ukraine. He called Putin again. Mistake number 2. The United States mistake today? We're not going to send weapons that can touch Russia. The European mistake today? Macron once again thinking that he is some great mediator between Russia and Ukraine. You're not, sir. I'm very thankful that you made it back in the office, because if Le Pen was in office, France would probably be attacking Ukraine. She was bona fide 100% in Putin's back pocket. But Mr. Macron, you're making a tremendous mistake. Once again, all of you European leaders, you need to listen to that lady from Estonia who said, stop calling Putin. It must happen. No, but instead of not calling him, we're going to play right into their hands. How about a couple of things that came out now because of that on the Nutso channels? You know, we call them the Nutsos. Well, millionaires spreading hatred and spreading lies. How about this one? This is our land.
Киев должен остаться на нашей стороне. Мы не должны никому, ни за какие, так сказать, ковришки дать возможность, да, над этим успехом посмеяться. По поводу того, какие у нас цели. Я лично, так сказать, да, я думаю, что ни у кого сомнений нет. Я абсолютно уверен, что это наша земля. Это вообще это наша земля. Не то, чтобы там Украина, какой она должна быть. Это вообще наша историческая земля. По недоразумению, в силу, так сказать, каких-то интриг, ошибок или предательства, оказавшаяся, как бы, да, вот в том положении, в каком она оказалась. Но при всем при этом насчет целей. Я думаю, что, к сожалению, с целями будет вот как. Война план покажет, если быть трезвым. Цели будут отформатированы ровно под то, подо что будут возможности. Вот что получится, так сказать, то и будет потом объявлено целями. Конечно, это не очень радостно, но я думаю, что, скорее всего, вот именно примерно так и будет происходить. При всем при том, что стремиться, конечно, надо к тому, чтобы этот украинский вопрос не оставлять следующим поколениям. Это в идеале, несомненно. Потому что оставить их следующим поколениям, на самом деле, очень рискованно, потому что мы не знаем, что там будет в следующих поколениях.
Что за поколение?
Да, мы не знаем, что за поколение там, да, как бы над этим надо работать, но тем не менее.
And see, this is why you have to look at this almost every day. And most every day, I show you a clip or two of these guys. They're on 7 days a week. So you hear this guy talking about this is our land. We can't leave this for future generations. And as the war unfolds, we will determine our goals. Now, of course, here comes the queen bee of the system. And this is going to be interesting. Make sure you're reading this because it'll throw you for a minute. Watch this.
Пожалуй, пришло время признать, возможно, что спецоперация России на Украине закончилась, в том смысле, что началась самая настоящая война, причем война Третья мировая, и мы вынуждены заниматься демилитаризацией не просто Украины, а всего Североатлантического альянса.
You see, you have to pay attention to it. Maybe we should realize that the special operation is over, and now it's just World War III. And we need to not stop with Ukraine, but we need to demilitarize NATO. And the problem with that is people in Washington, D.C., people in Brussels, Belgium, the EU, they look at those statements and they laugh. It's the same people that were looking at the amassing of troops on the Ukrainian border during the second half of last year prior to the invasion on February the 24th, 2022. You're not laughing anymore. And now, when they call that, no, this is our dirt, we can't leave this to the next generation. And you know what? Let's stop calling it a special operation and go ahead and understand that this is World War III. You see, this is the critical time where the maximum amount of pressure needs to be put on Russia. And today, day 96, huge mistakes were made. And I'm sorry to say, on our Memorial Day, where we pay tribute to our fallen heroes and the ones that gave us the right to be free and the ones that provided us the ability not only for ourselves, but to help others around the world. We're all humans and we need to help each other. Today, America, on Memorial Day, was extremely cowardly with this decision. It needs to change. What's interesting right here is this morning, a lot of things sequentially happened today, timing, that were very, very goofy. Very goofy. This morning, Ukraine, so excited because the weapons were coming. Only a couple of hours later to be squashed when President Biden said it's not happening. Early in the morning, Macron spewing, I will negotiate. I will be the broker. I will be the mediator. And it was just a couple of hours later that a French journalist was killed. When the defense foreign minister of France was actually visiting in Kyiv, France demands to investigate the death of a journalist near Severodonetsk as soon as possible. It happened today, the death of Frederick Leklerkmov, a BFM journalist killed today during coverage of the Ukrainian evacuation operation near Severodonetsk, is deeply shocking. This is quotes, folks. I condemn this and express our condolences to his family and colleagues, said Catherine Colonna during her visit to Kyiv today, Foreign Minister of France. Ma'am, with all due respect to you, how is it shocking? What planet have you been on for 96 days? What rock have you been hiding under? It's shocking. You have a journalist in the middle of the hottest war zone in the entire country, the pinpoint of activity right now, and you're shocked? These people are clueless. This is a real war, and thousands are dying. In fact, I'm going to show you guys this video. This is crazy. Today, a Ukrainian that's in Mariupol was able to get some drone footage, actually. Drone footage of mass burials. You're not going to see anything. Everything's good, but you're going to see the size of it. And what they're doing in Mariupol right now is they are creating these long lines, and they're stacking the dead 5 deep and then burying them. And the French foreign minister is going to wonder, how on earth did our journalists get killed in a war zone? There you have it. So how could our journalists be killed? Very interesting today what came out of Kyiv as well. This is, as this war goes on, we're at day 96, you're going to begin to meet other people. This is Oleg Nikolenko, another Ukrainian official there in Kyiv, directly calling out Reuters. Reuters, do not promote Russia's propaganda vocabulary. Pro-Moscow Kherson region. This is what Reuters has been calling it. Pro-Moscow Kherson region. He says that's wrong. You need to call it Russian-occupied Kherson region. Reuters has been calling it grain exports. He said stop it. Call it stolen grain shipments. And then Reuters has been calling it the military-civilian administration. He said stop it. Call it for what it is, the Russian occupation administration. And he is spot on. Tonight, this is pretty much where we're at. Think about this for a moment. First, Putin came for the Chechens, and I didn't speak out because I was not a Chechen. That one was under the radar. Then Putin came for Georgia, and I didn't speak out because I was not a Georgian. Then Putin came for the Syrians. And I didn't speak out because I was not a Syrian. Then Putin came for the Ukrainians, and I didn't speak out. You get to the bottom, then Putin came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. And that is why we're speaking out. That's why we're doing everything we can, raising money, raising funds, telling the truth, sharing the truth. Because, folks, if you want to do yourself a favor and you want to see what Mariupol looks like in Syria, Just go to YouTube and type in Aleppo and look at the video. It's completely destroyed. It looks exactly like Mariupol. Go look up Georgia-Russian war. Go look up the Chechen-Russia war. It's the same. And it's happening all throughout Ukraine. And we're just letting it happen. Oil embargo, 6th round. There will be no oil embargo. There's a difference between embargo. Embargo would be full. There was an agreement that they would do a 2/3, a 66% stoppage of Russian oil imports by the end of the year. So let's just make it very clear. They're still buying Russian oil. And the last thing I want to show you tonight is right here. I think it was CZ. I've seen lots of talk about Reuters today. Reuters is pro-Russia. It really is looking like Reuters is pro-Russia. Firecracker 10, stop calling Putin, needs to be on a shirt I'll purchase. All right, I'll make it. In fact, stop calling Putin. And 3 minutes, in 3 minutes, I'm going to call my guy and I'm going to, not Barney. I'm going to call my guy and I'm going to have that one made. That's a great idea. Now, last thing I want to give you, CZ, right at the beginning of the program tonight, you were talking about the families from Ukraine, those that have family members. And Sergei Volin's sister did speak. Others spoke. And I want to read this to you. And then I actually have a little bit of video from an interview with Sergei Volin today. Not an interview from a media. This is from Russia. But they provided some of this video out. Stop calling Putler. Oh, that's even better. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Stop calling Putler. Okay. You guys, you got me going now. You think I'm joking, don't you? You don't know me. There's going to be a t-shirt. So Natalia, let me give you this here. Natalia Zarutska noted that the last time her husband got in touch with her, now this is referring to those that were in Azovstal, whether the Marines or the Azov Battalion or the National Guard or any others that were there, border guards that have been taken once they surrendered. She said the last time her husband got in touch with her was on May the 17th. So you can calculate that for yourself. The last time she spoke to her husband was 13 days ago. It is unknown at this time what happened to him. At this time, what happened to him? On that day, May 17th, I received a terrible message from my husband. Out of his 36 brothers in arms with whom he served in the same platoon, 24 were killed. 17 of them were killed by a phosphorus bomb. These defenders were charred and only bones remained. 8 survivors were injured. They endured 82 days in such conditions. If you ever read or you hear that it's not phosphorus munitions and incendiary devices that Russia is using against the Ukraine, or the thermobaric, or the munitions that suck the oxygen out and basically burn up the soldiers, it's happening. And she talked to her husband firsthand. And then finally, Tatiana Kharko, sister of Sergei Volin, commander of the 36th Separate Marine Brigade, said that her brother defended our state on Azovstal and Mariupol. He is dubbed the eyes of the war. Now, I'm going to show you this, and this is where we're going to close for tonight. We have followed Sergei Volin for the entire war. We have followed Palomar. We have followed all these guys through their ordeal in the Azovstal steel plant in Mariupol. And I'm actually became friends with Sergey Volyn on Facebook, would talk to him each evening. And I'm very concerned. I check it each night. Of course, nothing. But today he was being interviewed, and not like media. Okay, he's just talking, and it's a little hard to understand. So I'm going to set the stage for you, and then I'm going to play it. The first thing he talks about, you see, the 36th Marine Brigade that Volyn commanded was not at the Azovstal. They were outside fighting in Mariupol. But then the Azovstal got in such dire straits that they made an incredible attempt to join together. And I've got this. We talked about it. It might have been day 40 in the war. I do not know, but I've got it. I've got the video. I've got the documentation. We just have to find it. But they made that break through the lines to come and join the Azovstal to try to defend it with their brothers from the Azov battalion. Now, when that happened, there were deserters. There were those of the 36th that did not want to go to the steel plant, and they deserted. They left. The Ukrainian soldiers, I'm telling you the truth, folks. I tell you the truth in here. At the beginning of this talk, Volyn is talking about those guys that departed, just so you have clarity of what he's talking about. And then he tells how they marked some Russian equipment with Z's and took the risky maneuver to break into the Azovstal to join forces with their brothers. What I can tell you is, this is what he's talking about. You can see he's a little bit gaunt. And the good news is, he's alive. This was today.
Мы были действовать вместе, но там как бы от Боровника не поступила команда на движение. Он как бы действовал там самостоятельно, я не знаю, там, какие маневры он преследовал, там, какие цели. Он попал под огонь артиллерии, там, под удар авиации. Его техника наталкивалась на минные шлагбаумы. Как бы люди погибали, получали ранения там, и так далее. И движение техники захлебнулось. Со мной прошло около 200 ребят. В основном это были ребята из батальона морской пехоты, в котором я проходил службу. Как бы подготовились, нанесли опознавательные знаки, зетки на технику для того, чтобы ввести в заблуждение там, силы, которые могут случайно встретиться нам по пути. Отработали маршрут, построили боевой порядок и двигались в направлении Азовстали.
And that's all I've got. But I'm glad to know he's still kicking. And we're believing for some type of exchange. Russia is still talking about not exchanging, but actually putting all those guys on trial. We definitely do not want that to happen. We want an exchange. So we shall see. But folks, that's the full update today. And I'm telling you, day 96, the United States and the EU made huge mistakes today. Putin's smiling right now. Hopefully tomorrow, it's our turn to have a good day, a successful day, a pushback day, and Putin frowns. That's our goal. But I can also tell you, we've got a t-shirt coming. In fact, I'm going to make that call in 60 seconds when this outro's out. Thank you guys for all of your support. Thank you for all of your help. Thank you for all that you do. Together, we're making a difference. We'll see you in 23 hours. Tomorrow night, going to have Zhenya with us. Be blessed. Good night.